This is a relatively short but challenging bike ride, about 30 miles long. It's one of Prescott area's most enjoyed and famous bike rides, and has been for more than 50 years. These days, the most common starting point is the White Spar Safeway, just a mile south of downtown Prescott and the courthouse. The turnaround point has generally been the little country store in Wilhoit. From high above, we get an overview of the twists and bends as the road travels on the eastern shoulders of the 14-mile-long Sierra Prieta Range. To the immediate east of the route is the Hacienda River Valley. Even more off to the east is the beautiful Bradshaw Mountains. What is not so obvious from this high perch is the long climbs and fast descents. The road ranges from 5,100 feet to a little over 6,100 feet above sea level. For your round trip, you'll climb around 3,000 feet in total. As you depart on this ride from the White Spar Safeway, you're going to encounter your first and only traffic control device for the entire ride. That's going to be the traffic light at Copper Basin Road and White Spar. This is not particularly a busy intersection, but for whatever reason, it has been the location of several bicycle accidents. So please be careful and have a great ride. The first 4 miles of your ride will be a slowly increasing climb. While you'll be in the pines right away, the first mile or so is an urban area with a few motels and businesses. But almost immediately after that, you're in the Prescott National Forest, and the climb becomes a little more obvious. About a half mile before you get to the top of this climb, look to your right. You'll see the namesake of the road, White Spar Peak, with its massive outcroppings of white quartz. Once you've reached milepost 305, you're at the high point for the ride, around 6,110 feet. And the scenery really opens up wide here, with beautiful vistas of the Bradshaws off to your left and the Hacienda Valley ahead. The next 4 miles, many riders consider the most enjoyable of the ride, with beautiful open vistas, mostly downhill, lots of nice S-turns, a very enjoyable part of the ride. On your return leg, it's going to seem like you're climbing a bit more than you did on the trip over, but the fact is the elevation's pretty close to the same at both ends of the route. Most riders break it down into 5 climbs. As you depart the Wilhoit store in the high deserts of central Arizona, you start the first of 5 climbs. This one is fairly steep and increasing as you go. It will cover 3¼ miles, and it ends just a tick past milepost 298, followed by a nice little downhill of about 0.6 to recover. As you roll through a nice little pine valley, you start climb 2, which looks fairly steep, and it is in the beginning, but it kind of eases off, and it's not very long, about 0.6 of a mile. And you'll have a nice downhill that will test your handling skills quite a bit. The road's a little rough, very fast and tight S-turns. As you roll out of that fast descent with the tight turns, you immediately enter climb 3, which is about 1.5 miles long. As you start, it doesn't look very steep, and it doesn't appear to be much of a hill, but your legs will let you know you are climbing and you're going up. With a little more than 1/2 mile to go on that climb, it starts to look a lot steeper, especially through the last switchback to the hilltop. If it's a warm day, this particular 1/2 mile stretch will seem like the hottest of your ride. It's in a canyon and the air doesn't move much. Your reward, though, at the top is a beautiful view of the Hacienda River Valley and more than 1/2 mile of flat road to follow. Climb 4 starts at milepost 303 and runs to the top of the hill at milepost 305, which is the high point of the ride. You'll have stunning views of the Bradshaw Mountains when you get to the top, and at this point, you're pretty much home free. You have a 1/2 mile ahead of rolling downhill to recover from that climb, and then just one brief climb left for the day. Climb 5, as we said, your last climb of the day, is just about a half mile or so long and not especially steep. But what comes after that is your special reward. A very fast, beautiful 4-mile downhill dash through the tall pines of the Prescott National Forest on smooth pavement and not particularly windy road, a few turns. It's a very exhilarating ride all the way back to your starting point. Prior to May 15th of 2002, this first mile of your descent would have been nearly in total shade. The Indian fire changed all that. Scrub underbrush is holding the soil together, but the beautiful giant ponderosa trees are gone for a lifetime.